Welcome to another day of farming with family. It's a little bit colder out today. It's -8, feels like about negative, I think 30. Tonight it's supposed to be negative like 25, I believe, for the actual temperature. So the wind chill is going to be much colder than that. But just going to go out and get the cows checked on, get them fed a little extra grain, and check their water, make sure everything's good. You know, it's a little colder out. All the calves are inside the barn today, just hanging out inside. They'll still go out to eat and stuff, but if they can have their choice, they'll stay inside most of the day. It snowed some more over in the night, so there's a little bit more snow in the feed bunk. We'll get that cleaned out before we give them their grain. Not a lot, but we'll get it cleaned. Even with it being so cold, their tank heater's still doing a good job. It's got a heating element underneath the pan, and then the water comes up underneath there and just sits on a float. But it keeps it warm enough with the element, the warm water coming through the pipe, so usually does really good. Not too much snow in this trough. I moved it closer yesterday to the pole barn. I was kind of wondering why I was carrying the grain so far, so I moved it from over there just to right here. A little bit easier to get to and just feed the cows. A little less carrying buckets. Got these calves fed. They ought to be happy about that. Even though it's not snowing too bad, they called a snow day today, so both of our kids are up at daycare where Maya usually goes. Our daycare lady does an awesome job, and she has a bouncy house that she puts in her basement, and so Vaughn doesn't usually go there. Usually he hangs out with me, but today we have a tax appointment to get our farm taxes done, and so Vaughn went there, and he was all excited because his friends from school were there. So who wants to go to school when you can just go play in a bouncy house at daycare? So we're very fortunate to have the daycare that we do up there. These cows all have their grain. I go through and count them whenever I feed them. There's 14 in here, because if you are missing one and they don't come up for grain, you know that something's wrong. So you better go look around the pen and check. And if a cow doesn't usually come up to eat something like grain, which they love, then you know something's going on, or they're not feeling well for whatever reason. So then it's time to do a little investigation. But everyone's here today, present and accounted for, and they're enjoying the grain. I gave them 3 buckets again today, just for how cold it is, so they get extra nutrition. But they're all super happy about it. So I checked their water. There's not a ton of ice that I had to crack, but the tank heater just hasn't had time to get the water warm enough yet. And once in a while, if the ice is too high, it plugs up this end of the pipe and then it backs up. So it didn't pump in much water today. So this actually has ice in it. So I'm going to take it off. I'll take it inside, run some warm water through it, kind of chop a hole where it comes out at so it can flow freely. So we'll get that de-thawed, but you always got to check your water, make sure your cows have plenty of it. Well, it turns out it's frozen there more than I thought. It's froze where the water actually comes out. There's a big puddle that got frozen, so gonna try to use a little heat, see if we can get it open. Ice is starting to melt. I tried to tap it, but it's hard to get a crack right there, and they don't really make these things anymore. So we're gonna see if we can get it thawed out a little bit. Making progress. Well, thankfully it came off, not too hard. Got it melted out enough. So we'll go thaw this out, and then we'll come in. We'll run the pump a little bit more just to get the cow's tank filled up a little bit more. Getting it unthawed little by little. Well, it's thawed out. The whole thing is frozen solid. Got it warmed up, and all these came out. So we'll go put it back on, get the cows a little more water. Got it put back on. We'll be ready to go for tomorrow. Probably won't have a lot of filming for the rest of today until we do the chickens, just because we have the tax appointment, and how much boringer can you get than having a tax appointment. So we'll check back in this evening when we're taking care of the chickens and get their eggs. They should be nice and warm. Their building's all insulated and closed up, and they got space heaters and water heaters, so they should be nice and cozy in the storm. But we'll check back later. We made it over to Mobridge and stopped and had a quick bite to eat together. We ate at Great Plains Family Restaurant over here. It's right by the Missouri River. But had a really good prime rib sandwich, and Sarah got a grilled fish sandwich. So super good food. If you're ever in Mobridge, stop by. They're right along the road. So my question for you is, how many of you love all of the questions they have at the gas pump when you're standing there freezing cold, negative 10 degrees, feels like negative 30, and there's about 10 questions. Do you want a car wash? Do you have perks? All this and that, and all I want is just to get my gas and get back in my car and try not to freeze. Well, that's done with for the year. Got back from our tax appointment and it went well. Some people might ask why you're doing your taxes so early, but farmers are supposed to file, I think the end of February is their kind of deadline, just because there's more things going on with their business. But now we got some cat food for the cats. We have probably from like 8 to 10 that run around here at different times, but cheaper to feed the cats a little food than it is to hire pest control, and they do a much better job. So that's why we keep them fed, keep them happy. Now I'm just gonna go check on the cows again, make sure they're all good, and check on the chickens. Taking the trash to the dumpster. So getting everything checked in, tucked in for the night. Tank heater's doing its job. It's keeping it nice and thawed. I didn't run it anymore because the cows can still get down there, and this actual layer of ice does keep some heat in, so it doesn't all just rise up to the top. So we'll leave it down a little bit, otherwise when the water gets up, it heats the water up, melts more ice, and you have less insulation to keep your other water warm, which takes more power from your heater to keep that at the temp that it needs to be. Chickens are doing good. Just working on their feed that we gave them yesterday. Even though it's about negative 10 outside, it's probably mid to upper 30s in here. The water's staying thawed. And we got a few eggs in here to get. There's one doing her thing. We'll see if we can get pecked tonight or not. Oh, she was nice this time. Sometimes she's mean and grumpy grump. Any more? Just two? Okay. So far the black ones have always been much nicer when you go to get their eggs. It's the gold ones that get a little feisty on you. Usually the black ones just kind of want to get out of your way. Got a nice basket of eggs again tonight. So I'm checking out camera. What do you think? Watch what you're doing.
9, 10.
No, you're still at 9. You put one back. Put that one back. Yep. Now you're at 8.
8.
Okay, how many eggs do we get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22,
5,
23, 24,
24,
25,
25,
26,
26,
27,
27,
28.
28.
28 eggs. Okay, good counting, Knuckles. Oh, ouch! Why so hard? Again. Oh, ouch.